Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living Your Purpose with me, Danielle, the VP. I am an entrepreneur, interfaith minister, and many other titles. I'm not even going to get into it, but most importantly, I am a life coach and spiritual counselor. And with me today are our hosts over that way.
Jamila Corbett. My name is Jamila Corbett. I'm an entrepreneur and brand strategist, and I help you authentically communicate your message and your value to the rest of the world. And you can hit me on all of my social handles on Periscope and on Twitter at the same name, Jamila Corbett, JAMILAHCORBITT.
Very good. What's going on, everybody? It's SJ from Inner Soul Development. That's right, Inner Soul Development. I am a personal life coach and transformational speaker. What I do is I take you off your autopilot and I take you off course to your greater self. I find that missing piece to your puzzle. Okay, so today's topic is what's going on? What's going on, Brian? Today's topic is putting in the work, okay? And the reason why I chose this topic is because a lot of people, especially that I come across with, want so much. They want to have the results that they want. They want to have, a better life in their finding their purpose. But however, they're not really ready to do the work. They're not ready to put in the work that's required, because there's work that's required. You got to put in the work. The universe is not going to sit there, or you're not going to sit there and expect it to just happen. You got to put in the work. You got to have, like we're doing right now, finding a definite purpose, finding what your life purpose is. But at the same time, you got to add bricks to that. That means you got to put in the work. Okay, so it's very important that you have a strategy, that you have a plan, and we're going to talk about that and how you can create and develop a plan and put in the work necessary for you to succeed. And this could be in business and in personal life. It's very important that we put in the work that's required for us to be able to go to that next level.
And I think a lot of people, when they're creating a business, first of all, the difference between a entrepreneur and an entrepreneur is the execution, right? So a entrepreneur has the idea, they have the dream, and they're like, oh, I'm going to start this business when I get some money. I'm going to start this business, in a few months when I feel better, when I get settled. There's always an excuse. An entrepreneur has the vision and executes that vision. And so that's the difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. And when you're in business, you have to have the dream, right? You have the dream, but you have to wake up. At some point, you have to wake up from that dream and go get it.
Totally agree. See, a lot of times what you're going to hear, whether it's in business, in personal life, education, whatever it is, you hear a lot of people like myself, SJ, you will say, think it, do, dream it, and be it, and all that. But it's more than just a mindset thing. That's where you start. It's more than just, feeling it, asking for it, all that type of stuff. After you've got your mindset right, now there are things that you have to do. For some of the more religious people are familiar with the saying, God helps those that help themselves, right? And what that means is it's fine to pray. It's fine to have an idea. It's fine to have a goal. But a goal is not a goal unless you're working toward it. You have to start taking the steps. And if you don't know where to start, that's fine. Just educate yourself. That's another step. That's an action that you're taking. Learn about the thing that it is that you want to do. And then take steps. They don't have to be giant leaps. They can be small steps. But as long as you're taking the steps, you're on your way. The journey of 1,000,000 miles, 1,000 miles starts with a single step, right? So that's what it's all about. We have a comment here. I'm sorry. I just want to acknowledge this. I have trouble deciding on what to focus on because I feel that I'm passionate about more than one thing. That's a good point. A lot of us are. I have so many titles because of just that. But it's not necessarily about not being able to focus on it. It's about prioritizing, organizing yourself, and what I'm saying, just pick the thing that you're going to work on today and do that every day.
And write it down. I'm all about writing it down. Listen, I don't want to listen. Let me tell you something. A lot of people, they get into their mind. Listen, they have two things that they always say to me. I need to wait I'm going to wait till my kids get older. I'm going to wait until, I get this other job. Or they may say, I want to do it, but. So wait and but is always out their mouth. Wait and but. Okay, that's the number 2 words that I always hear. Okay, you have to start somewhere. That's why I tell you, even if you don't have a detailed plan or it out like an intricate, as long as it's sketchy, write it down. At least you have some type of plan, some type of vision. Okay, we need to start to turn on that TV so we can get a vision. Once we have that vision, you need to write it down. But what Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, which is perfect, he said it takes continuous action. So you got to have a plan and be continuous, have continuous action. Now, why is it got to be a continuous action? Because that's going to develop faculties that you have within yourself that you haven't tapped into, which is desire. Because once you start building this continuous action, you get a desire for it, okay? So what you need to do is take that small step, but work continuously at it, because that's going to help you continuously work on yourself, because it starts from home base. It starts from home base, okay? So that's very important that you just don't sit there, and laws of attraction doesn't work where you just think about something and then you don't do anything about it and the universe is going to give it to you gift wrap. Doesn't happen that way. Does not happen that way. You have to put in the work, okay? Work is necessary for any type of successful business. I don't care if you fail, you still got to get up and put in more work, okay? We all have to put in the work to get to where we are right now, and we're giving you the gift of understanding so you can understand what you need to do in order for you to become successful and live in your purpose.
Agreed. I mean, there's really this might be our shortest lab ever, because it's pretty self-explanatory. You have to work, period. And if you don't like that word work, fine. You have to take action. You have to do something in order for your dreams to become a reality, in order for your vision to come to life. You can change your mindset, be positive, say, I can do this, I am this, and I am having this, but it's only real if you are physically actually doing and feeling, and you know what I'm saying? It's not just, I wish I could, I want to, if you have time constraints, that's understandable. If you have family obligations, that's understandable. If you don't have the time, I don't really like that word, but if you don't have the opportunity that you would like to, say, get a degree and to go to school full time, fine. Don't go to school full time. If you have kids and stuff, take one class. If it takes you 20 years to get that degree, fine. Let it take 20 years, but you have to take those steps in order to do it. Faith without works is dead. That's the one that I was thinking of too. Faith without works is dead. It's good to be faithful. It's good to have a desire. And see, SJ, to piggyback on what you were saying, it's more than just desire, because a desire is a want, right? And once you desire something enough, then it becomes drive. You need the drive in order to chase after that.
Right. But it also goes according to, and I believe that a lot of people, I don't know, Jamila, you want to say something? I'm sorry, did I cut you off? You good? Okay. It also talks, I think it's another thing about your belief system. Okay, what you believe. Some people are just lazy. I understand that.
Sure.
I understand that. Some people want so much, but I know a lot of people that want, and they wish, but they're just not ready. I come across a lot of people that are just not ready. And that's cool. You're not ready. That's understandable. But when you are ready, then you'll know. And the only way that you will be ready is when you're tired of what's going on in your life at this point. Okay? I can't push you, or I can't put a gun to your head and tell you this is, do it now. It's all about your belief system, and it also is according to how your makeup is, like what's going on.
I think people are not ready because they are not informed. I think that's the thing. Felipe was talking about what is fear and what is it not. Fear is just not understanding what is happening. Fear is imagined, actually. Danger can be real, but failure can be real. but fear is just not knowing what's going on. So the more information you arm yourself with, the more prepared you are, the less fearful you can be.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. 100%.
Jamila, you're awfully quiet this evening.
Mm-hmm.
You okay?
Listening. I'm good.
Are you learning this evening?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
It's not like you. I'm so confused.
I know.
Okay.
But you know what, though? I think that fear is real. Okay, fear is real. However, it's the perception of fear that's important. You know, there's some people who may see fear and they may just jump off the George Washington Bridge. Okay, then you have some people who have fear and they'll use that fear as a catalyst for their greatness. It's all of how you perceive what fear is. Okay, because it's gonna come into your life. Okay, but it's how you perceive it. You can perceive it in a positive way towards success, or you can do it in another way, which is your demise, right? So it's all about what we perceive.
And I also think fear can go, like you said, SJ, just to piggyback off of what you said, fear can motivate us or it can hinder us. And fear, usually the acronym for that is false evidence appearing real. So it's how we internalize that fear that helps, that's either going to propel us forward or it's gonna hinder us on our journey. And so what I like to do is I like to take the fear that I have and I take it and I use that as fuel. So for instance, for me, I'm a part of Toastmasters and the only reason I joined Toastmasters was because I was fearful of public speaking. So I took that fear and I channeled that energy into a positive direction. And so now, I'm like the Toastmaster, right, Danielle? I'm like, winning contests and stuff because I channeled that energy, that fearful energy into something positive, and something beautiful came out of that fear. And just by me taking that leap, I channeled the fear, that false evidence appearing real. I channeled that into something that was positive. So that's what you guys can do, in your everyday life. If you're fearful about something, there's a reason why you may be fearful, and maybe that fear scares you. Maybe you have the fear of failure or the fear of success. Maybe so, but you have to examine, where is this fear coming from? And once you examine that, then you just move beyond it. My favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes is, feel the fear, but do it anyway.
I like that one. I can steal that. I can't steal that. That's somebody else's, but that's hot.
But you can use it.
You can use it. Yeah, I just used it. I don't remember who it came from, but I just remember that quote, and I was like, that's great. I like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, when you go on a journey anywhere of your life purpose, whether it be, like I said, business or personal, but let's put it personal. Let's put it into personal terms. Let's say you're going to do your journey in a personal terms. A lot of people stop their journey because they don't want to put in the work required to learn about themselves, because it's a scary place. Mm. It's a scary place. And we understand it. I understand it because I had to do the same thing. I had to be able to see things and realize that I had to forgive myself on certain things. I had to actually strip myself naked, right? But it was a journey that I had to go through in order for me to continue on to become a better individual. I just wanted to become better. But once again, people are fearful of that journey because it's like smoke and mirrors. But all of a sudden now the mirror is mad clear. You know how you get a really mad clear mirror and you're like, damn, I didn't know I had this many pimples. Or I didn't know I had this. Oh my God. You really get a chance to see yourself. And so some people are fearful of that because it's actually letting them see themselves clearer. And that's scary. That's a scary place. So that's why I think a lot of people are unwilling to do the work on personal development because they don't want to come out the shadows of knowing who it really is.
Yeah, and I think it's partially, or a lot, to do with what we feel other people might think or feel about us. Thank you for the props, by the way. I see you, Jay. This thing about perception of others has not, or it has fueled a lot of people's fear. And here's a quote that I like is, you wouldn't worry so much about how people thought about you if you knew how little they did. Now, that's not to say people don't care about you, but it's to say you are not necessarily the main priority in everybody else's life. You have to be the main priority in your own life, and what you think about yourself, what you feel about yourself, how important your dreams and visions are to you should be the most important thing, not what everybody else thinks it is, because they can't see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do what you do, and they can't be who you are. So that's one way to look at things, to alleviate some of that. What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Or, you know, I don't, if I do this, then my parents aren't going to like it, or whatever. That's garbage. It's just throw it all away, because it's garbage. What's most important is how you feel about you and what it is that you want to do to make a positive change in your life and the lives of others. That's it, and that's all. So it does take a lot of self-examination sometimes. You know, as I've started this journey on the live streaming and broadcasting and sharing myself in order to help others, I was scared. This is a scary platform because it's you. It's real. There's no editing. There's no, cut that, run it back, we'll start over. No, it's you. It's all you. It's right now. And I choose to do Q&As on Periscope and sometimes on here too, because in business, there's a thing of saying people need to get to know, like, and trust you. I don't know what it is that you need to know in order to know, like, and trust me. So I leave it open. Ask me anything about anything, as long as your question is respectful. And I have shared some deep, personal, emotional stuff. I have even come to tears on camera because, you know, it's really deep. But in doing so, in facing that fear of sharing myself and telling my business, basically, I've been able to help a lot of people. And they've told me, like, offline, you know, the thing that you said really motivated me. Or they would go on to their own scope and say, you know, Danielle, you know, thank you for sharing your story. This helped me to be able to do this. And, you know, because like I said before, and I say all the time, your situations is part of your story, and your story is meant to be shared. So it can be a scary thing, but it's necessary. Yeah. You have to examine yourself. You have to do the work on yourself first. And then whatever your dreams and goals are, you have to do that work too. Right. There is no shortcut. It's always about taking action in whatever it is that you do.
That's true. Anything you want to say, Jamila, or you good?
I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay.
I think it's time to open up the love seat. What do you say?
Yeah, we should definitely open up the love seat.
The love seat is open just for you.
No, she didn't. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to living your purpose, this open seat right here, we call it the love seat. And that is a place for you to come in. You can share your thoughts on the topic, ask us questions. If you're living your purpose and you feel so, please share that with us too. This is about conversation, not just presentation. So whenever you're ready, just hop on in.
Yeah,
you are most welcome here.
This is not an infomercial, okay? This is not
right.
Do you want to go off the record, or you want to stay on the record?
Well, I wanted to say one thing before we get off the record. Are we going to get off the record in like 2 minutes? Okay. So I think
if nobody wants to jump in, then we'll go off.
That's true. Before I lose this thought, any type of feeling or any type of journey you're doing has to start with self first. So Jamila's successful in her entrepreneurial tactics, whatever her thing is, her specialty, is because she did a lot of work within herself. I'm sure she did a lot of work within herself. Myself too. So it has to start. I don't care what you want to do. It has to start home base. You got to be able to, in order to, they say, change your mindset, right? How do you do that? That's working on you, right? So that's where it starts. That's where it starts. Before you become any type of success, you got to work on you, and you got to put in the work to do that.
And I think if you don't do that, if you don't put in that work, if you, for instance, let's look at some of these celebrities, right? They propelled themselves to success. They achieved, in our eyes, what appears to be success, but they get to the top and they're like, they don't really know who they are, and then it just their whole world crumbles and they become someone else that they're not. They start abusing drugs, they start doing this, they start doing all these things. It's because they never took time to look inward and to figure out who they really are. So their success was not built upon a steady foundation. So if you want to sustain your success when you get there, whatever your definition of success is, you have to build it on a sturdy foundation. And that sturdy foundation is you knowing thyself.
Yes. And a lot of people don't know thyself. They say they do, but they really don't. And you will never know thyself until you get into a situation where you have to be strong, strong. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get this power and strength. And you're saying, oh my gosh, I never knew I had that kind of a power. Yeah, because you didn't get a chance to know yourself. You're a strong, powerful being created by God. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. So a lot of people that say they know themselves, or I know me, I know you're not your name. You're not your body. You are somebody. You are somebody else besides that. Those are what you have. You have your name. That's your name. Somebody gave that to you, right? Your body. That's what you have. But you got an impeccable power that people haven't even tapped into, okay? That they don't even know how strong they are until they get to the point of having to be strong.
Let me tell you something else about that, SJ. Sometimes you don't even know until after you've come through it.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, Jamila's heard part of my story. Jay Mugga's heard part of my story. And I've always considered myself to be relatively weak because I find myself, or have found myself, in these really difficult, tough situations, and I felt like I was broken, and I actually was broken. I've had to go to the hospital because I was broken down. But then after the end of it, after I'm telling people what I'm going through, they say, you are so strong. And I'm like, you know what? I guess I am. You know what I mean? They say whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And there was some times where I came really close to death for several different reasons. But I sometimes you have to step back and look at it, really think about what you've come through and realize how strong and powerful you actually are. So yeah, sometimes it takes an opportunity to be strong, and sometimes it takes you just taking a step back and looking at where you've been and where you are now,
right,
to notice that you are strong. So I'm going to offer up one more opportunity for somebody to jump in on the love seat and share your experience with doing the work, your ideas, your questions. How are you living your purpose?
How are you doing the work? How are you doing the work? And to be honest with you, entrepreneurs, that's a strong field. Okay.
You have to be strong to be successful.
Strong, and you got to be strategic. You got to use every muscle and fiber of your powerful being to be able to move forward, because entrepreneurs can get to the point where you say, you know what, I should have just did a 9 to 5, right? You can always go back. You can always have that option, but entrepreneurs don't have that option. They X that option out. That's not even an option. But
it's not 9 to 5 anymore either. Right. It's a 9 to 12, 9 to 1, 9 to 2.
So entrepreneurs are the ones like ourselves, all these entrepreneurs where we surround ourselves with. We know about strength. We know how to tap into that. But at the same time, we need to get energy from other entrepreneurs that help us out more, because we're always on this journey. Entrepreneurship is not a end all be all. It's a continuous journey.
And it's a roller coaster.
You constantly got to put in
most
the work.
Definitely.
No matter how deep the dive is, we always got to put in the work.
Yep, that's it. Well, if no one wants to, there's the guy.
Brian.
Hey, Brian.
What's up, Brian?
Turn up my mic or my headphones so I can hear you.
Your headphones are low.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. I can hear you a little bit.
Your sound is a little low.
I just bought a new adapter.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
It's better. See,
how's it going, Brian?
I got this mic right here, but it's a decent mic. I used to play in a bluegrass band, so this is like a pro mic for my instruments, but I I need a connection to the computer, so it's not working yet.
It's all good. Welcome back to Living Your Purpose. It's always good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a great
Thank
subject.
you so much.
Living your purpose. I feel like when I got laid off 3 years ago, I was chief operating officer for a statewide nonprofit social service agency in Virginia, and I got laid off. I was on we call it where the government gives you money when you're laid off.
A grant program. Oh, what do you call it? Unemployment.
Unemployment. Thank you. See, I've never been honest. I forget the name. So I was on unemployment for the maximum benefits. Actually, Obama had extended those because there were so many people got laid off during that time. So I was unemployed for quite a while, for the maximum amount of time, really. And I did a whole lot of praying and a whole lot of talking to other people, talking to my wife, and thinking about what I was going to do with my life. And because my wife was in med school, so I hesitated to get another job locally because I knew she's going to be going somewhere, flying off somewhere, and I was going to follow wherever she's going. So I've always done web design on the side. So when I started that up, I started doing web design, social media marketing. When she graduated from med school, she got positioned up here in DC. She's in the Army, so she's an Army doctor. And here, and then I just really dedicated my whole life to this job, to this solopreneur kind of thing. And so one of the ways I know I'm living my purpose is the impact it has on my family and the people around me. Even though I'm doing something that's kind of techie and it's not as connected to changing people's lives as when I was working for the nonprofit. When I was working for the nonprofit, we were doing adoption, foster care. We're taking kids out of really disastrous, situations, home-based counseling, helping kids with disabilities. It's much more, grounded in real life kind of stuff. Now I'm working with businesses on helping them buy stuff, and create, sell stuff, which is different.
Still important.
Where I've
Still
discovered
important.
My real purpose is with the people I'm working with. I probably have 10 subcontractors that I work with now because my business has been growing so much. And I've helped some of those subcontractors leave their day jobs because they're making so much money through me referring them business, a graphic design or web design or social media management. I just hired somebody off of Blab last week for a social media management position.
That's amazing.
By me making the difference in my subcontractors' lives and also helping the business that I work with achieve their goals is really, exciting. Helping them increase their profit is fun and exciting. I feel like I'm really living my purpose when people, the people I'm working with and around me are really starting to live their purpose.
There you go.
I love that.
That's what it's about too. So when you're living your purpose and you're shining your light, and I've said this before, that's giving other people permission for their light to shine as well. And it's fulfilling for you when you can help someone else live their purpose. It's so rewarding and it's so fulfilling. That's why I went into business, is so I can help other people live their purpose and make an impact on other people.
Yeah, me too. Even though my business is about, we do makeup artistry, photo shoots, and we do web development as well. Because I always say, I don't want to climb a ladder. I want to hold a ladder so other people can climb. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I want to be behind the scenes and help other people shine. That is what, and people have really been appreciative about the work that we do in order to put out the work that they do. And it's important. It is important because you're helping somebody else to live their dream, whatever it is that they do. So that's it. People kind of think of it as a superficial thing, just working commercial, but it's really not, because this is somebody's dream. This is somebody's vision. And that person is, whether it's an artist or an author or somebody with their own nonprofit, they're working to help other people too.
Right.
Or speak to people as well. So it's a chain reaction, a domino effect. You're helping somebody to help somebody else.
Exactly. One hand washes the other, both hand washes, one hand washes the other, both hand washes the face kind of mentality, right? But
you love that quote, SJ. You love it.
I love it.
Absolutely. I use that because a lot of people say each one teach one. Yes, but I think that I'm a touchy-feely individual. So therefore, one hand washes the other, both hand washes the face. We both got to be able to help each other. But at the same time, I think Brian had the the drive within him to keep moving, to keep finding things that actually meaning he put in the work. Period. He didn't sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, I got unemployment. I'm just gonna sit here and make it a career." A lot of people do.
Unemployment as a career.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of, there's a lot of people. I'm gonna put it out there, especially in where I'm at, like Jersey, New York. There's a lot of people. There's first, second, third generation welfare recipients. Why is that? Okay, because the mentality is stay home, use the system, right? Not put in the work, right? So, like I said, he didn't just sit there and say, "I'm going to do this. I'm just going to collect this unemployment," whatever the case may be. He did other things that fulfilled and gave back. Okay, so I think that's very, very important, because he had to change his mindset in order for him to get to that strategic level of understanding.
There's a book link I put in there. It's called Give to Live, How Giving Can Change Your Life. That was a really important book for me when I was kind of going through this process, and it's so connected to this concept of my networking group. We have a motto of givers gain. When you give, you get. And so one of the things that I do in my networking group, which is so consistent with my own life values, is we really try to look out for people in our groups and really find the best referrals and connections we can for those other people in our group, so that they can really be successful without regard to ourselves. I mean, the best way to do it is without any thought that you're going to get something back. If you're truly altruistic, I think it comes back to you tenfold. I think when you're really totally focused on the other person, what their needs are, without thinking about how is this going to benefit me next week. If I give somebody, if I help this person out, I think maybe they can give me something. That's always going to, in my mind, that's always going to be limited in return. But when you really think, what is the best thing I could give, Jamila in this situation? What is the best kind of, connection I could make with her that's going to really make an impact locally here in DC in her life? That's without me thinking, then what could she possibly do for me? If I give her some kind of a good connection with a nonprofit I know or something, I think then that really comes back. I mean, it's like natural. It's kind of like the universe, karma, the natural order of things.
It's gonna come back to you one way or another. And even if you do something like that without the thought of gaining for yourself, that gain is going to come back. I've seen that on Periscope twice, at least in the last month. I'm just giving of myself, saying, "Hey, you guys come into my scope and just network with each other. Tell people what you do. What do you do? What do you like to do? What do you scope about? What do you like to look for in a scope?" And I offer my motivation and practical ideas and things like that, and just offer another opportunity for someone else to maybe make some money in their own way. And I'll jump in on somebody else's scope, and we're just watching it. And one of my folks will say, "Hey, you need this. Danielle is good for that. Danielle does this." It's really a cool thing. And I've actually made some money, doing it. And it wasn't my purpose necessarily to promote my retail business, but I got retail business from it. And I have coaching clients now from these platforms because I'm giving of myself. And so people want to come back and give me referrals and send people to me because of the energy that I'm putting into just giving for the sake of giving.
I want to share really quickly. I want to share an analogy that I learned. It was a couple years ago. And so I think I was at Bible study like a couple years ago. This is a couple years ago, but I remember this analogy vividly. And the pastor was saying, you have your hands closed, right? If you have your hands closed, you can't receive anything. When you give, when you open up your hands and give to other people, your hands are open so you can receive your blessings. You can't receive your blessings with closed hands. And I wouldn't, that's still stuck. It's like ingrained in my memory. I would never forget that analogy because that is so powerful. If your hands are closed, you can't receive anything. You have to open up your hands and give so you can receive. The energy, it's, the law of reciprocity. You give, you receive what you give. It all comes back.
Yeah,
it's true.
Because all that,
I love that.
Love. You're giving out of love, and you're giving out of not just getting anything back, but you're doing it because you want this person to be as successful. That's why I say you know, when you're around successful, and when you want to start your journey, as far as whether it be self-analysis of yourself or a business, you want to align yourself with people with the same like minds. You got to have the same like minds who actually see the potential in you more than you see it in yourself. Okay, that's why I always believe in mentors, having people around you that help you go to that next level, but that see the potential in you, so that when you do give, you'll be openly and willing to receive, because you understand how that law works.
Yeah,
that's very important.
That's pretty much it.
I love that analogy. You got to give. You got to open your hand. You got to be free spirit to open your hand and not be so closed-minded. And I think that's a lot of things. I think that's one of the real reasons why people also don't want to do the work. A lot of them are already trained already they're already shut out.
I think a lot of it is because they're not prepared to receive. They don't understand what receiving is, because they necessarily they work so hard and they don't necessarily see returns. And so, you know, nobody's ever given them anything, or, you know, in their mind that this is how it works. So they're not looking for anybody to give them anything. So if someone offers them something, they push back, and then they're wondering why they're struggling, because they're not willing to receive help. They're not willing to receive, you know, good, kind words. They're not willing to receive a blessing,
you know,
because they don't know how.
That makes me think of my pet peeve, which is like when somebody says thank you for something, a lot of 90% of people will say thank you back instead of welcoming that blessing. Instead of saying
right.
Like when somebody tells me thank you, my first response, a lot of people's first response is no, thank you. No, thank you. It's like they pushing
thank you.
That blessing way. I would say accept it. You know, you're welcome. You're very welcome. You could follow. Thank you for this, but
well, you know, let me explain, because I do that same thing. When someone says, Danielle, you're awesome, I say, you know, you're awesome. It's not to necessarily turn away the blessing, but it is to acknowledge that person, for it's not just about you receiving my information and thinking that it's awesome. It's about me thinking you're awesome for being open to receive what it is that I have to give. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's not always a bad thing, but I think that's what it is for me. That's why I do that. I don't like to say no, thank you. I don't like to say no to their thanks, but I do have a tendency to do that and say, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, I'm just regular. Don't worry about it. But, you know, I'm just regular. But yeah, sometimes when a person returns the blessing or the thanks or whatever, it's just that, returning it. But I do understand some people are like that. It's like, oh, no. It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
I say, thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Because I need it.
It's so important.
I need it. I need whatever it is that you're giving me. I need just as well as you need whatever I'm giving you. I think that's important, that we acknowledge and appreciate and praise people. If we praise people more for what they do, there wouldn't be so much other negative things that we like, jealousy and competition. If we just praise everybody for just being who they are. Thank you for actually allowing me to listen to you, Brian. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you. Like, we need to praise individuals more, not as far as worship, but just praise them as far as their talents that they're giving to
even
the world.
Just acknowledge. Do you know I say thank you to every bus driver that I see every day? When I get off the bus, I say good morning or good evening, and I say thank you when I get off, because that's a hard job. You know, when someone is working like a crazy lunch rush, and I'm in their line and I'm being difficult, then I say, you know what, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day, because they don't get enough acknowledgement. Or some people, that might change their whole rest of their day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, giving thanks and acknowledging people for what they do, for the work that they put in, is so important.
I'm with you 100%.
It's about gratitude. You got to do the work. Again, you
really acknowledging them as a complete, you know, human being gift from God. It's like everyone, even from the doorman to the gas station attendant. I mean, they've got a full human purpose in their life that you know, that a lot of people just go by life and just kind of ignore those people, or maybe even look down on them. And same thing with the homeless. You know, they've got a whole life story. You have no idea about how they potentially got there. And where they're going to go next week. They could turn into the next. You don't know where, you know, who they're going to be tomorrow. There's a great story of a country music singer who was homeless, just probably a year ago, and he was discovered by a Swedish country music star walking through Nashville. She was going through Nashville, and she saw this homeless guy sing a country song with this amazing guttural voice. She's like, you need to be singing. And so of course, he was also addicted to I think heroin or something pretty strong at the time, but she was able to see the potential in that person and help get him some teeth, bring him out, you know, get him some recovery. And that guy is touring with her now, and he's got like a best-selling album along with this country music singer. You know, and just a year prior, he was like on the streets begging for, you know, money and homeless.
That is amazing.
That is beautiful. I mean, it's all about.
How are we doing on time? I'm just sorry. I just wanted to check our time for the record.
6:44.
Okay, so
we're doing pretty good. Okay.
Do a re-intro or?
Yeah. You guys, I need to get
there's
one,
a lot of
actually.
people that just
so
came in.
Go ahead, and then I'm gonna check out.
Okay. Well, we'll go off the record then, and we'll exit. So, thank you all, everyone, for joining us once again for Living Your Purpose. We will be back next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And it will be me, Danielle, the VP, Jamila Corbett, and SJ of Inner Soul Development. Same Blab time, same Blab channel. We hope to see you there. And stick around, because there's more to come after we go off the record, okay? See you